Hi, this is Candace, and I am here hanging out with a couple of the members of Floater.
Rob.
Peter.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us, by the way. So, I understand you formed the band in '93. Does that sound right?
Because it came out in '94.
Yeah.
So, what kind of things do you guys do to keep your albums fresh? I mean, you guys have released 7 albums, you got a new one on the way. What do you do to keep things fresh?
We make the music that we want to hear. That's,
People change, yeah, pretty much. As we change, so does the music. So,
You ever go out and buy a bunch of records, and by the end of the 8th or 9th one, you're kind of like, that one's almost it, you know? You just imagine the record that you wish someone would make, and so you could hear it, and then you try and come as close as you can to making that.
So you guys are going to be releasing your latest album, Wake, pretty quickly, as I understand. What can we expect from this new album?
oh my God, David! Oh.
You'd be expecting Dave to show up.
Fantastic. It wasn't an interview until he showed up.
Now it's
full-fledged.
Yeah.
So maybe you could answer the question, what can we expect from the latest album?
Music.
This one's going to be a color. It's definitely high energy.
Very.
Yeah, a lot of touring and playing live, I think, has has sort of steered our collective ship into the jump up and down category a little bit. But yeah, it's yes.
Straightening iron. You?
No thanks.
So what's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned over the years of traveling and being in a band?
There are a lot of lessons to learn over the years, but
Only take what you can handle and always know your dealer.
carry a lot of vitamin C. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, wrap that rascal.
Oh yeah, wrap that rascal twice, because it's important not to feel a thing. But no, I think honestly, just remembering why you're out there and why you do it and why you love it so much, and why the people are there for you too, and what they like, and how to make it work for both sides, so everybody can enjoy it, not just them but us too. So, but
Yeah, it's definitely a group effort. I mean, for sure. We have a lot of people who show up in far-flung cities and they're like, oh, thank you for being here, and we're thinking, well, I mean, we wouldn't be here if you weren't here, so what? Why? Don't thank us. I mean, we're all here for the same reason.
yeah, music. Yeah.
So what's one of the things, I mean, this might be individual for each of you, that really keeps you grounded while you're out there on tour?
I would say probably the biggest thing is just having done it a bunch. I mean, the first few times you go out on tour, it's really easy to kind of lose your footing a little bit, but I don't know, it's like mountaineering or camping or something like that. I mean, once you've done it a while, you kind of get the swing of, you get the swing of kind of how it works and what to do and how to enjoy it the most, and then it just clicks.
Yeah, it's definitely more comfortable, a little more, I don't know if comfortable, just familiar, I guess. So I guess comfortable, yeah, but there's always those things around the corner you don't expect, just when you think you got a handle on it, so.
I mean, the first time that I had to spank Dave, I was really uncomfortable. Yeah. But after a while, you're like, it's just a nighttime routine, and then he moves on and everything's cool.
How has coming from the Northwest influenced you as a band as opposed to some of the other bands that start off in bigger hubs such as New York City or LA? Do you think that's influenced you at all?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, in a number of ways. I mean, for one, the weather it's huge. Really, I mean, we play with a lot of bands from San Diego and LA and stuff, and Miami or whatever, and their whole take on life tends to be really kind of woohoo, and Seattle, Portland, Eugene, Vancouver. It's there's a whole stuck inside in the rain kind of poetry. It's very Irish, and I love it. I wouldn't trade it. So that's I would say, for one. And then for two, because the Northwest is not the home of the industry, I think there's a whole different take on, and it's not just music. I mean, it's screenwriting and novelists. Yeah, I mean, people create because they feel the need to create, and they have something that they feel they need to create, and I think in a lot of major hubs, it's like it's a business, it's a whole structured kind of framework oriented business.
So maybe they lose a little bit of that really soulful artistic touch.
I don't think that's what I'm saying at all. No, everybody's got their own take. Like you were already saying, I mean, weather is a huge influence. I mean, it influences your emotions, so it influences your music and just your general take on life. I think that, it's not like it's, we have a darker outlook than them or anything. I think everybody's got, it's just, just a different style for a different neighborhood kind of thing. So
if you're in a band in Missoula, Montana, there's no way that you're going to form and start writing material because you're assuming a major label will pick you up and what's our video budget, and you know what I mean. I think it's easy to kind of get trapped in that quicksand if you're in a band in New York or LA or Chicago or something, but for bands from the Northwest and from a lot of pockets around the US like that, it's the people meet and start writing music and making records because it's what they feel like they need to do, and that's a whole different motivator. It's a really different world to live in, than industry world.
So how do you think that the music industry has really changed in Portland over the years that you've seen?
I got nothing on that one. I don't know. I think that we've done a good job of staying independent, that's for sure. So I don't know what that's left us with, but that's where we're standing still. So
what kind of things are you guys involved with outside of the band?
I've always got more projects going on than I can keep track of. I think it's a character flaw. I don't know. Yeah. Well, lately, I mean, the last few months, certainly, and for quite a while before that, it's been all about the production of the new Floater record. So Wake has really been kind of all-encompassing for a while. I was doing some solo stuff for a while, and that, it was great. But when this record really got into production mode, it was kind of, I was on lockdown, and it was cool. So that kind of took over. Now that it's off at the plant and being pressed and sent off for distribution and everything, I get to sort of tentacle out into a few other things again. So some solo acoustic stuff and some electronic stuff and some spoken word stuff, and
So what sort of role, if any, do you think fashion plays in your life personally or as a band? Well,
my wife is a designer for Nike, so it pays enough to be a big role. I wish that I could claim some kind of fashion sense, but
I think the weather dresses me. Whatever it looks like it's going to be for the day, that's what I'm wearing.
What is the one thing that you can't live without while you're on tour?
Sleep. I mean, that's actually the hardest thing to find out there is healthy rest and a decent meal. So I think that's usually, of all of us, knowing just the exhaustion and bad habits and everything else, that's the first and most important thing, is just decent food when you can find it and some healthy sleep.
Cooking. I'm addicted. I love to cook. I could spend all day cooking. It's deeply fulfilling, and when we go on tour, I never get to cook.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the truth.
On tour, you eat off assembly lines or drive-through or whatever. You go to the catering tent or something, and it's like you just kind of have to eat what's put in front of you, and you never get to go, pull stuff out of your garden or go get some fresh groceries, or, and it's, I don't know, that's a gaping hole for me sometimes when I go on tour. It's just after a few weeks, you're like, oh man.
Well, I just want to thank you guys again for coming and hanging out with us, and take it easy.